Hello, 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 ladies. Welcome to Exhale with Regina. As a matter of fact, I always invite my guests to breathe with me. Let's take an exhale together on a count of three. One, two, three. Yes, exhale with Regina. Women owning their voices. I have three amazing women with me today. I have Tisha Hammond. I did it again. Tisha Hammond. Tisha Hammond and I have been knowing one another for about, I say, 2 years now. She's my accountability partner, and I am so blessed to have her here. And I must admit, ladies, I'm a little nervous, so just bear with me. I am excited to have her here today. She is considered the small business cheerleader. So I'm so grateful for her presence today. And I know that we're going to have a ball, and you're going to find out more about her story, her adversities, and her wins. She's going to share more about that as we get more into the conversation. And then I want to introduce Tanisha. Tanisha Lerner is the president of RTM 360. She will definitely tell you more about that. We had the opportunity to meet over served. Can you believe it? It was at the Michigan Chronicle, Politics and Pancakes, and it was the last one that they were doing. And it was the first one, though, that they were out amongst the crowd, right? Yeah, so that was a joy, and of course we were having pancakes and various different foods, and we struck a conversation over serve, and I just felt her presence, her energy, her aura was so inviting, and then I had the nerve to just say, hey, can you come on my podcast? And she agreed. And then Shantae Dixon. Shantae Dixon and I think it's 2 years as well, right? So it's been about 2 years since we had the opportunity to meet at a Maffey conference. She was there for the Great Lakes Women Business
Council.
Yes, Great Lake Business Women Business Council, and we struck up a conversation about the certifications that they do and her personal business. I have recently learned about. She is also an author, and again, I'm gonna let her tell you about her story. And Tisha is also an author. We already have a guest. And what I didn't do, here's Shantae Dixon. She's a consultant, and she's going to tell you more about what she has to offer too towards the end. All righty. And so we have a comment already, and it's by Felicia. Felicia, I don't want to mess up your last name, but Conjel, she say, hello, ladies. And I know I messed that up. So, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Thanks everyone for joining, and thank you, ladies, for being here and agreeing on Exhale with Regina. I do want to just tell a little bit more about what Exhale with Regina, Women Owning Their Voices, is all about. Exhale with Regina is designed to help women to see themselves. Many women do not see their gifts, talents, and abilities, and it keeps them stuck in shame, false guilt, comparison, low self-esteem, and a poor self-image. And we're going to talk about that too. Women can struggle with embracing themselves based on societal norms, based on family expectation, having distorted thoughts towards themselves. But women who embrace themselves, they see their beauty. They see their beauty, not the way society has defined them, but their God-given beauty. Our beauty is not tied to what people think, it's tied to our purpose. And so when you take a journey with Exhale with Regina, you move from pain to purpose, and we shine the light into what is hidden. And so that's what we're all about, shining that light into what is hidden, bringing out what we believe people need to see about us. And so I want to start with Shantae. Shantae, could you tell us a little bit about your brand story? Who are you and what makes you who you are?
All right. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me, Regina. I am Shantae Dixon. I am the owner of Precisely Done Enterprises, LLC. And as Regina stated earlier, I am also a program manager of a women's business center with the Great Lakes Women's Business Council. But I just want to share a little bit about me. I am a professional who has 22 years of experience working with business owners, 22 years working primarily with women, but working with individuals from all walks of life who had an idea and they were able to take that idea into fruition. And I'm very accomplished and very good at doing that. I've also worked for 10 years as a faculty member teaching individuals about management and business. But one thing I want to share about that, I really work hard and push people to their greatness. But sometimes I felt like I've sold myself short. And that is part of what Precisely Done Enterprises is at this point. I've evolved in my business services. I used to provide business coaching and training, but now I specifically focus on working with individuals and organizations to become more self-aware. When you realize that God has created you to be unique, and that was all for a purpose, and each of us represent a unique set of skill sets and talents and abilities. Once you tap into that, you don't have to try to be like someone else. You can be your authentic self. So that's what my passion is now, is really helping individuals to become self-aware so they can really maximize their full potential and be all that God designed them to be, either if it's personal or business. So thanks for having me.
Yes, and thank you. Thank you for that. I love what you said, that you're very accomplished, but then you turned around and you struggle with putting yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk more about that because you're definitely not alone with that, Shantae. So Tanisha, I said it right, correct? Yes, Tanisha Leonard. Could you tell us about you and your brand story and how you got to where you are?
Well, absolutely. Again, thank you for having me this afternoon, Regina. Professionally, I am the president of RTM 360, which is a cultural marketing firm. And we provide a suite of communication services for clients across the country. I have a background in communications, from all things relative, a successful career. But while I work a lot of hours, my profession is a very small part of what defines me on a day-to-day basis. And I'm rooted very much in the journey of, in addition to loving myself, helping other women love themselves. It's always been a passion for me. Nothing breaks my heart more to see other women, especially Black women, shrink themselves because they feel like they're not worthy or they're not deserving. And so, it is, I guess my brand story is now, as the years go by, just being more intentional with how I connect with other women and make sure that every engagement I have, that I'm pouring into them or that I'm receiving something from them. And I think that goes in a little to how we met. We had a very brief meeting, but in those few moments, I just knew that, again, you talked about the spirit and being rooted in faith and really helping us see ourselves, because Ashante was saying, a lot of us have professional success, but we go home at night and we still doubt ourselves and we have that imposter syndrome. And so I'm all about helping all women kind of step into their light and own their purpose.
Yeah, that is awesome. I love what you said too, right? That you said journey, that in your journey in discovering who you are, in embracing who you are, and loving who you are. And the first relationship we have is with whom? With ourselves first. And yet we try to give stuff to people that we haven't really given to ourselves. Yeah. So Tisha, tell us a little bit about you, Tisha.
Ooh, okay. A little bit. So I'll start by saying that several people along my journey have mentioned my name in rooms full of opportunities. And that's what I do now. So for the last 6 years, I have spent massive amounts of focus and energy and time and dedication building communities and then bridging them together so that people can expand their networks, so that entrepreneurs can make that transition from being someone's employee to becoming the employer themselves and living out that dream that they believe God gave them most of the time. Get them on the mission field for what it is they need to complete in order to have that business that they've wanted, to live out that passion that they've wanted. And recently, my company, after some intense classes and workshops in personal and professional development, my company has recently launched its media unit. And that media unit is helping individuals, mostly entrepreneurs, aspiring speakers, people who consider themselves brand authorities, or people who want to be known as influencers. We help them come out of the shadows, and we find that spotlight for them in the media, along with creating their digital assets and media kits and getting them booked on stages and in pages, as we like to say.
That's wonderful. Let me stick with you for a minute because I know a little bit about you, and you retired at the age of 41. Yes, and so I know that this journey wasn't easy for you to make this switch. So what compelled you? You retired, and now you are entrepreneur, and you are cheerleading for other entrepreneurs. How did you make all that connect?
Jesus.
Amen.
Let's see. I have to acknowledge that my husband and I are celebrating our 13th wedding anniversary on July 26th.
All right.
And from day one, he has been supportive of knowing I'm not going to retire from that career. He and I have very similar careers in law enforcement. He is still protecting and serving. I came out of uniform to go into civil rights advocacy at some point, diversity, inclusion, equity, all of that good stuff, and had a great career there, Regina, doing things in the federal government that took me around the world, and was excellent at what I did, but did not enjoy who I was doing it for most days of the week. And so I didn't want to leave all that expertise on the table and just do nothing with all that learning. So one day, got the courage and the support from my family when they gave me the green light, and when I believed I no longer needed anyone's permission or validation to do what I needed to do. I remember calling my supervisor, who is a woman of God, and telling her, you have been good to me, and I've been excellent to you.
All right.
Excellent. And today is my last day. I did give them 15 days, by the way. I didn't just walk out.
Okay.
Because that would have been unhealthy for my team. And my team did nothing wrong to me, right? But yes, the fact is that I was able to retire at the age of 41. And honestly, that's because my husband and I, long before we were married, made a decision to improve our relationship with money. And when we did that, he and our financial planners understood I can't work till I'm 65 that way. I got to work till I'm 65 or 57 or 42 on my terms. And that was a game changer, just owning that and telling them, this train is moving. I can't stop it. I won't stop it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Which really, before I go on, I was going to say what brings me to Tanisha. But Tanisha, I just want to make sure that I have some other audience. They're saying hello to all. And this is going to Shantae's statement. I can certainly relate to reluctance to put oneself out there. Yes. She said, powerful. I love Tisha's confidence. All right. And so I'm going to be striving to bring our audience in. And if you have any questions, audience, of the guests, please make sure you put it in the comments and I will get to it. I promise you. And so, Tanisha, what I wanted to ask you was that just piggybacking on what Tisha said about not getting permission, not needing her boss's validation. And for me, just talking about me, and I know other women can relate to it, but just talking about me, seeking validation from other people, seeking them to give me permission to be who I am. What do you say to that? And how did you encourage yourself? Or was it something that you even struggled with at all?
I would say the first step is it's courage. And I think Tisha touched
Yes.
upon that. It's
Yeah.
courage to own who you are, no matter what room you're in. And I've just, for me, I have for most of my life been comfortable being Tanisha. Like I'm Tanisha,
Okay.
whether, everywhere I go, because it's like, I don't know how to be anything else.
Yeah.
And I'm big on, if I feel like if I'm being genuine, if you don't respect that, you're probably not a person that I want in my life or that you should be a part of my life. But at the end of the day, we all do seek validation in a lot of ways. But it's really about, again, that courage to own who you are, the good, the bad, the ugly, and be
Yes.
accountable to yourself. Because Tisha again said it earlier, the first person you love is yourself. And if you're still struggling with that, and I know that is, a lot of times easier said than done, but it's like find what in you makes you love you and lean on that. But again, at the end of
Wow.
the day, it's, courage is the only word that keeps coming to mind.
Yes, 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 yes. I love that because we do have to have courage. And then you said, find what?
Find what it is you love most about you
And lean
and
on
lean
it.
into that.
All right, now I love that. That's a quote right there. Okay. Find what you love most about you and lean into it. Okay. So we have here, she says to Tisha, how did you have the courage and strength to make the decision to retire from your job? And you kind of touched on that, but go ahead, Tisha.
I gotta say that I was leaving a six-figure salary, and I had been used to having six figures for a mighty long time at that point, and my business was in no way, shape, or form making six figures when I left. And so it took my husband saying at some point, just do it. I remember it was like March 17th of 2018. And I remember calling, my husband's name is Ken. I remember calling him and saying, today's the day. And he said, do it. And I was like, bet. And I hung up the phone and I called my supervisor. It was that assurance that, you know what, we have saved well, we have planned well, we have done all that we can do up until this point. If you're going to do it, go ahead and get the daggone thing done, rip the Band-Aid off. We can cry together. We did cry together. My supervisor and I cried together. But she sent me off with prayer. And
All right.
it just was no looking back. It gave me time also. All of that courage that I was mustering up gave me time to be a caregiver to my mother, which was another motivating force because I needed time. And certainly I have that time freedom and mind freedom now that I had been seeking for so very long.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And thank you, Felicia, for asking the question. So Shantae, just piggybacking on some of what Tisha even shared, because I know from reading your bio, you assisted a company in regaining their footage again. And you said earlier, I'm accomplished. I love that. That just resonated with me so much. Can you share how you were able to help that company to get through their adversities?
Okay, thanks for asking. I speak about this business relationship in Destined to Win. I had to walk away from that opportunity, but again, I am, a high achiever. I'm a problem solver. I'm able to go in and assess the situation. And once I'm committed to something, I go hard. And this company was around for 30 years, and I was able to go in because I wasn't directly involved and was able to see with an eagle eye view on some of
Yes.
the holes in the foundation and what needed to be done. He had a big vision to expand this company beyond just one location and to really grow it. And we were able to achieve all of those benchmarks because of the consulting I did. I did take a more active role in it. And I speak on this in Destined to Win because this is where I believe I kind of gave myself up. I ended up becoming more actively involved in this person's business, where I kind of put mine on the back burner, and became a minority shareholder and was really able to turn this business around. But that really wasn't my vision or, my goal. I think, expectations of others and not wanting to let others down. This was a person I had known for quite some time. So again, not wanting to disappoint someone, I think plays into that as well. But we were able to do some amazing things. And then I had to walk away from something that I helped to turn around and build and expand. So that was quite a painful journey for me. But I discovered a lot about myself. And this is where where the rubber hit the road, where I really had to take a look in the mirror and say, what was going on with Shantae, to get caught up in, the situation where I would just go down a path that I did not want to go in. We were successful, of course, but again, I wasn't fulfilled and happy. So that was a very valuable lesson for me. I discovered a lot about myself, and now I was able to walk away from that and regain some footing. And now I'm on the path to, really going full steam for what Shantae wants.
That's powerful. That is really powerful, because you mentioned something that I think we as women can struggle with, that people pleasing. Just want to people please, want people to accept us and help us and see us. And that's big. So to tell yourself that you're going to walk away, and to tell yourself that, hey, knowing that you had helped this company, when did you face yourself to say, I'm just people pleasing? I'm just people pleasing.
Right. I wasn't fulfilled. Again, we had a lot of success on the outer, but, I believe that God really played a part in it, because I believe when you're not on your path, your purpose path, I believe he allows disruptions to come, because if we stay in our comfort zone, we'll never change or move. But it became so uncomfortable that I had no choice but to get moving.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and that was in writing and Destined to Win, that helped me to heal, because of course, there's a lot of bitterness, a lot of anger. My confidence was really shaken. Saying, how did I miss the mark? And, how did I go down this path? But again, I discovered myself, I gained my strength, and I believe God works everything out for your good. I definitely, the experience that I've gained from that it pays so much now as I'm helping others and helping myself. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I love that. So, Tanisha, right? Nesh. Yeah, Tanisha. Okay, good. I just don't want to mess the name up. But you functioning on the national level, international level of really interacting with people who seem so self-assured. Yeah. And they can easily look the part. We all can, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you navigate through all of that, and particularly in marketing, because I'm sure you meet a lot of personalities? So how do you navigate through all of that? Hopefully that's a clear question.
Oh no, absolutely. And I will share with you all, and I'll try to be as transparent as possible. I walk into rooms and I have conversations every day with people that I don't feel like I belong, or they're coming to me for counsel, and I'm looking across the table at this person and thinking, how can someone who is in your position, and how can, what can I say that's going to add value? So, it's an ongoing thing with me to, make sure that my voice is heard without, to give myself permission to make my voice heard, because, I think about, early in my career where I would sit at a table, I would have a thought, but I would kind of wait for the time to, say what I thought, or I would talk myself out of saying it out loud because I thought these people were smarter. I thought that they were, and, adding to that, a lot of the people I deal with, they don't look like me. I'm in a room full of white men, you know what I'm saying? Or, so it's that hurdle as well, where they're already, some inherent biases where they don't, I got to be conscious of not being the angry Black woman or not
Yeah.
too loud. And, so every day it's something that I have to, every morning I get up first of all, and I give it all to God going into these rooms.
Yes.
It's, I pray over the words that come out of my mouth and that they be fruitful for the person that is receiving them. And I just have to rely on that because, it's something every day I have to say, okay, well, how are we going to figure this one out? But, and it's reminding myself that they sought me out or that they saw some value in what I do and what I have to say because they're engaging with me. And so really just giving myself, that pep talk, every day it's kind of like, you got this, you're smart, and it's like, I think it, so that gives it some level of credence and validity. I have to tell myself, you're not crazy, so
Yes.
you feel this way, or you think this way, there's some validity in your feelings and it's okay.
Yes.
You don't have to always have the right answer. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay just to open up and take that chance. But it is definitely something that it's an ongoing area of growth for me to assert myself in that way.
Thank you so much for your transparency because you hit on a number of things. The angry Black woman, constantly questioning ourselves, constantly wondering, do we have to adjust ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
And these are labels that been put on us just for being who we are. And unfortunately, even as African Americans, we can do it to each other. Mm-hmm. So any one of you can take this question. I do want to let you see what people are saying. So Felicia says, God bless you, Shantae. Then she says, you are all powerhouses. Marla Williams, ladies, thank you for your transparency. I must share this on my page. Please do, Marla. Here's the thing. Women need transparency. How about that? They need us to stand up. So let me just sit my little self down and let one of you answer that question. How are you dealing with the angry Black woman entered the room? How are you dealing with the adjustments? How are you dealing with giving yourself permission while all these factors are already there in the room? Thank you, Tanisha, for saying that. Anyone?
Well, I know for me to be comfortable in my own skin, a lot of times I won't say anything because I don't want to go tickety boom, especially some things that are very heated. So I do find myself, as Tanisha stated, maybe talking myself out of speaking up because you don't want to be or appear to be the angry Black woman or always complaining. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I find that I get angry with myself if I try to sugarcoat stuff. I am typically that person that sees the good in everything and everybody. There's a bright side, there's a silver lining. Okay. It takes a lot of energy to be that person 100% of the time. And when a situation just calls for the flat out truth, no sugarcoating, I get angry at myself if I don't let it out. If you ask me for my opinion, I am just, something happened when I turned 45. I think something happened. I think I felt grown. And I'm not out to hurt anyone's feelings. If you ask me for the truth, though, I'm going to give you the truth. I think speaking the truth means that you care about people and that you want to have a good, intelligent conversation with them. So someone would have to tell me if they've perceived me as the angry Black woman. I don't get the sense that I have been perceived that way, but I don't know. Perception is not mine. It's the other person's.
That's true. That's really true. Tanisha, did you want to say something to that?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. It's also, Tisha, I absolutely love your spirit, but it's also, it's that balance of, even when we're not the angry Black woman, if we assert ourselves, we're aggressive. And when we're aggressive, it's negative. But let, somebody else say the exact same thing in far less eloquently. And, they're a strong leader, they're leading the way.
Right.
So it is, again, it's a constant battle and I love with that, getting angry at yourself, because I've started to do that too. It's just like, sometimes you have to let people know I'm not going to embrace, I'm not going to take this. Sometimes you do have to stand up. And there are those times where you got to let the chips fall where they may. But, again, it's about fighting those, what we see is, that unbalance of perception.
Yes, yes, yes. Here's a comment by Barbara Brooks. You asked me if I think we all feel better when we have the courage to speak truth to power and speak the truth in love. Yes, yes. So speaking the truth in love, I was thinking about that too, Barb, because it is necessary we speak the truth, and we can do it in love. We don't have to do it the way they expect us to do it. Yeah. And I think that's a powerful thing too. Here she says, sorry, my comment was not clear. I meant that we all feel better when we speak truth to power and speak the truth in love. Well, we understood. and so here's the thing too. I like the fact that Tisha, you says, you know what? I like being happy, but it's hard being that 100% of the time. And particularly when you're you're working with a lot of people and you're engaged in front of a lot of people, people can rub you the wrong way. But what is a philosophy for each one of you women that you like to be guided by? What guides you into that space in keeping that positive spirit and walking in the truth of who you are? What is that philosophy that help you to do that? Or a quote or inspiration? What helps you?
I'll go first with that one. For me, is that you can't pour from an empty cup. And that, sometimes it's okay to be selfish, because there are so many people that I have to give of myself to. And there are times when, I manage a staff of probably about 20 people. And there are days when they come to me and, and if it's not directly burger related, I'm like, I don't have it in me today. I don't have the emotional bandwidth. I'm not trying to hurt you, but I don't have the emotional bandwidth to give you what you're asking for. So that's I often have to remind myself of that. It's like, sometimes it's okay to be selfish, and I have to take care of Tanisha, because people will tap into you, not realizing that there's 20 of them, but it's only one of me, and so it's really carving out that time to love on me, whatever that may be, whether it's just sitting in my car in the garage before I come in the house, to have to cook dinner, whether it's just, riding in silence somewhere. I think, that's definitely what keeps me moving and keeps me positive, because then I balance myself out.
Yeah, and you know what, Tanisha, do we really need to call it selfish? Because that's what we immediately frame it as selfish, taking care of ourselves. I was talking to a girlfriend, and what came out of the conversation, that the Bible says, love others as you love yourself. And people really don't deal with the self. It's right there in the Bible. Love others as you love yourself. And yet, women, we'll frame it as being selfish. Do Tisha and Shantae, do you find yourself doing that? I know I do. When you're trying to take care of yourself, oh, this may be selfish. Go ahead. Anyone want to speak to that?
I've gotten a lot better, as Tisha say. When you start getting a little older, you start, thinking about how important it is to protect yourself. And I used to feel that it was being selfish, but now I realize that it's necessary for me to be the best me, to make sure I take care. That self-care is so important.
Okay.
I no longer feel guilty.
Okay, good. I think I just lost. Okay, here, let me see. Can I? Okay, there we go. Okay, all right. So here, I agree, Tanisha. My daily prayer is that I am able to give from the overflow of my saucer as opposed to my cup. All right, now. I love that. All right. And so, Shantae, I'm sorry, I may have interrupted you a little, but what I did hear you say is that you have, as you've gotten older, you have embraced caring for yourself.
Oh, yes, most definitely. Yes,
Yes.
it's so important for me to be the best me. I can't give to others if I'm depleted, and I realize that.
Well, I have
Mhm.
been seeing you, my sister, on Facebook with your strong arms and your exercise clothes. So I know that you are definitely embracing the exercise and getting your body, getting your body healthy. Tell me a little about that because you showing up,
Yes.
showing it off.
I won't say it was a pandemic, but leaving that business situation, I guess I was in a form of depression and didn't realize it. And just life happens. My oldest daughter went off to college, all those life transitions and so forth. Then the pandemic happened last year. So I remember looking in the mirror. I didn't feel good, but still pushing. And I looked in the mirror and I didn't recognize who Shantae was. So October last year, I decided I was going to transform my life. It started with, exercise. I enrolled in a Zumba class. And then January, I committed to just a better lifestyle, eating better, making sure I took care of my spirit man. As you all stated, you can't pour from an empty cup. And I just turned 50 years old last month. And by my 50th birthday, I lost 50 pounds.
All
I
right.
am
Woo,
now about 56
woo.
pounds down and still counting. But I just wanted to take better care of myself because I know I have a great purpose and I can't fulfill my purpose if I'm not in a quality state.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. Tisha, you want to speak to that?
I do. I want to give three very meaningful quotes that have been planted as seeds in my life that I'm growing from. The first was from my first mentor, the first person that I understood was a mentor-mentee relationship. Her name was Dr. Jean Heitch Williams. She's in the sociology department of my HBCU, Coppin State University in Baltimore, Maryland. She
Whoop,
said,
whoop.
yes, woo, woo. She said, if you can dream it, you can achieve it. Now, I know Michael Jordan probably said that. I know it had been on motivational posters, and none of that mattered to me. But when she said it, I believed it. I was like, she believes in more. She believes in me
Mhm.
more than I believe in me. That doesn't make sense. And turn that thing around. I got to believe in me so I can go out and do these things. The second quote. So the quote, if you can dream it, you can achieve it.
Okay.
The quote that I parlayed that into for my children is the sky is not the limit. There is no limit. Not even the sky can hold you. So I encourage them to dream big, and I dream big and wild and crazy and audacious, and it's hairy and it's ugly and it's beautiful and it's wild. And I don't care who else sees it. It's my private screening. My dream belongs to me, and I am going to bring it to Christ is going to bring it to fruition. I'm going to follow right in that, and the thing is going to get done. The third thing just entered my life recently, and that is a quote. It I don't know who to attribute the quote from, but the person who I got it from, her name is Albania Rosario, and her favorite quote is, "I don't take constructive criticism from people who haven't constructed anything."
All right.
I was like, okay, I like it. I like it. So that's what I'm rocking with.
All right. All right. Any other comments around that before we go on? That's powerful. One of the things I have found, and that's why I reached out to Tisha, is we got some amen. All right. And some power signs. All right. All right. Thank you. Is that what I have found? Is that it, particularly in, let me just say, in the African American community? I am African American. I can speak from that experience. I'm sure in other cultures, the diverse cultures, there may be some similar experiences, because I have found that we all have similar experiences. We have more in common than we think we don't, right? But finding that mentor, and what Tanisha, in reading from what you stated, you said that you had some powerful women, praying women in your life, and who really helped you to get to where you are. These were your mentors. Can you talk about that a little? And then I'll ask the other ones as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, and that actually I think originates all the time. As part of our introduction for ourselves in meeting Regina, she asked about how you got to walking where you are, and my response is always, I don't know. You know, it's like I am the product of a praying grandmother. You know, and it's true
Yes.
it's because my life has always been blessed, and I have always been surrounded by supportive people. You know, I've got great parents, but there's always just been these women in my tribe who saw me, you know, grow, you know, coming up in my career, who saw me and saw my potential and poured into me and really gave me the confidence to, you know, own who Tanisha was. And, you know, I think that's ongoing. You know, it's interesting. I meet people, and actually going back to Pancakes and Politics, there was a woman who used to come to all of them. And then one day she came up to me, she was like, I've been praying for you. And, you know, we had never, you know, really engaged with one another. So, you know, it is absolutely just those kind of interactions. I truly believe there's anointing over my life. I will
Yes.
say I don't 100% know, or I can't define to you what my purpose is. You know, I'll just be, you know, real honest there. I know some people are like, my purpose is to do X, Y, and Z in this many years. That's never been my testimony, but
All
I
right.
know that I'm here for a reason, and I let God use me however he sees fit. And he has just put amazing women in from my first, you know, I started in the advertising industry, which is, you know, off the top, fiercely competitive. I'm talking cutthroat, nasty, competitive. And you layer that into that being, you know, the only little Black girl at a company of, you know, 1,200 folks. But then coming out of it, my first boss was a Black woman who, you know, I
Wow.
look to this day, who always looked out for me, who always kind of, you know, gave me tips on, you know, watch out for this because this is how this is happening, you know, personally, professionally. And she is somebody who is in my life to this day, that I look up to. And then just throughout my career, God has just put some phenomenal business women in my life, just some praying, good heart. My friends are, you know, amazing. So, you know, I don't know where it comes from. So that's where I was like, whatever grandma prayed back in the day, it worked. You know,
Yes. I
I'm
love
more.
it. I love it. I love it. Thanks for sharing that. What would you say, Shantae?
Well, I've been very fortunate to have some real strong women um, mentor me. And I want to say it as far back as I can think of is age 11. I went to work. One of my neighbors started a candy store, and her name was Al Calababa. She was a Native American, and she was just a strong woman. That was my first exposure to a woman, you know, leader in that capacity. And she took me under her wing one summer, and that's where I got my first introduction to entrepreneurship. I followed her. She taught me about inventory and how do you go and price and you know, she's really tough. And then my very first job in, I want to say, small business development in 1999, I happened to work under Kathy McClellan, and she was a woman who was trailblazing for her day. She started the Detroit Entrepreneurship Institute, and she was just such a dynamic woman. And I really attribute me discovering my passion for working with disadvantaged individuals through her. She was a woman who was very sharp. She taught me the value about building relationships, especially if you are in an organization and you need resources. So she was just so resourceful, and she was just really sharp. And I learned a lot under her. And I want to say in higher education, I would say Dr. Janice Green. She was over the School of Business for the University of Phoenix. And this is another powerful, you know, African-American woman. As a matter of fact, I was so intimidated by her because she would just give it to you straight, no chaser. But she really had a heart, and she really took a liking to me and helped cultivate me in that field. And, you know, she would definitely let me know where my blind spots were, but I greatly appreciate her as well. And I want to say in ministry, Val McCune, she is a woman that came into my life when I was licensed as a minister and really went through some transitional situations in a church that really wasn't receptive to women being in ministry and talking about purpose. So those are some mentors that I really thank the Lord. And I know that those were divine connections that helped mold and shape me and help me to discover my purpose and my passion. And just so thankful for them being in my life when they were, and it's made a lifelong impact.
Yeah, thank you for
Mhm.
sharing that. And you know, that is awesome because by you naming them and singling them out, and it gives opportunity for other women, even myself, to say, yeah, who has really, poured into my life? Sometimes we can miss people pouring into our lives, in our lives, because we can get caught up in the ugly. And yet, like Tanisha said, this lady said, I'm praying for you. I've had women to come up and say that to me too. That's powerful. I didn't have the wonderful grandmothers. Mine had already passed away, but I always said in my mind, it's nothing like a grandmother. Nothing, it's nothing like women pouring into our lives. And before you get to yours, Tisha, let me just here's what some women are saying right now. Marla says a praying grandmother and the women in her circle is Aunt Joyce Brooks. Okay. Here, it truly makes a difference to have a powerful prayer circle. All right. Wonderful, Shantae. That's from Felicia. All right. So, Tisha.
All right, so you heard my college mentor. I got
Yes.
my first mentor, of course, my mother. Um, it took me 40 something years to serve her with the honor that she deserves, because you couldn't. I just thought she could have done better, honestly. However, now I'm a mother, and I understand it don't come with a manual. It comes with very little help and
Yes.
support, and she didn't kill me. And so it's a start, it's a foundation. I love her to life for it, and I will serve her and take care of her until my dying day. Now, in
Yes.
addition to my mother, I have two mamas, and they did not play. That I could give no excuses. They did not let me come up short on anything. One taught me about Jesus Christ. The other one taught me how to be a strong woman and not get rolled over. And I needed all of those perspectives that all three taught me. My business and professional mentors have been. I mentioned that people mention my name in rooms full of opportunity. Well, the first one to do that at least caught my attention, and I understood what she was doing. That's Tanya R. Allen. She's now Tanya Hill today, and Dr. Lisa Wicker. And then I've been really enjoying this wonderful relationship, friendship, sisterhood, auntyhood. You know how you meet a woman and sometimes she's like a whole bunch of different roles wrapped
All
up in
right.
you. That woman for me, her name is Jack Taylor Jones, and she owns Lighthouse Christian Stores in Detroit. The first retail owner to sell my book in a shop that wasn't like a major. It's a book, so it's sold in major stores, but the first retail owner, local, right there on the Avenue of Fashion in Detroit, who took a chance on my book, and together we have gone gangbusters in
All
business.
right.
It's I love her to life as well.
That is awesome. Ladies, of course, when you're doing a show, you want to make sure you stay on the positive notes. And yeah, and I totally agree. And I thank you guys. You shared a lot of positive things, and that is excellent. But there are some what I call the elephants in the room that kind of came up. And particularly during this pandemic, a lot of women have been dealing with it. They've been dealing with work-life balance. They have been dealing with anxiety and depression, which Shantae alluded to. Um, they have been dealing with taking on uh, more responsibility, the demands of the jobs. Um, what can you say to these women who are dealing with single motherhood, anxiety, depression, and they trying to not fall apart? They're trying to stay together. And these women are on various levels. They are in the boardrooms, they are in courtrooms. I mean, they are everywhere and they're hurting. what can we say to them? And whoever wants to take that.
I'll go.
Okay.
Two things, three things. One, you're not alone.
Yes.
It might feel isolating, but you are not alone. Two is, what is balance anyway? My definition of work-life balance I get from Dr. Priscilla Archangel. She says the word imbalance is literally saying I'm balanced. I will work this way today. I might not be able to pull this off this way tomorrow, but today I got it under control.
All right.
Let me get through this today and we'll figure out what the balance looks like tomorrow. I don't think it has to be like so cut in stone. I mean, let's be flexible and adaptable, and give yourself some grace. Give yourself a lot of grace if you can. And number three is, I tell a lot of my female friends that I have something called the Auntie Tisha Boot Camp, and that's for their children. And I do this because I've raised 5 children, and that is, at any time that they would like to, they have access to me to put their children on Zoom with me, on video chat, on Instagram chat, on FaceTime, whatever it is. If they need a break and you need someone to watch the children, I can at least watch them virtually. And if you're not in the position to, correct them so that you can have some me time or delegate to them so they can do their own chores and you don't have to, clean up after them, put them on the phone with me. I'd be happy to, speak that into their lives in a way that they will most likely understand it. Because sometimes you can't hear everything from your mother. It don't sound right when it comes from her sometimes. Sometimes you got to hear it from somebody that loves you also, but delivers it in such a way that they're serious about it. And I don't know about other mothers, but sometimes I've been so worn out as a mom. I've been like, just go ask your dad. I don't even know what to say. And I've wanted that woman in my life who could step in and be like, nah, treat your mother better than that. Help her out around the house. Don't leave her to do everything. She doesn't have to run your bath water and dry you off. You're 12 years old. I'm just saying, if you have a support circle, ask for help. Help is not a dirty word. And you might be surprised at who in your circle steps up to help you be as successful as you want to be in finding that balance.
All right. Shantae, Tanisha, either one of you want to take that?
Yeah, I definitely share what Tisha just stated, but I would just say surrender. For me, who's a person who's so used to being in control and taking care of everything, I had to surrender that today some things just won't get done. And, now, as she stated, you have another day to start again, but you can only do so much, and just surrender those expectations that others may have of you or expectations of yourself, of what you should or shouldn't do. And, if you just don't feel like doing anything but just chilling and looking out the window, then that's what you can do for today. Then do that. But I think that's so important. And I had to do that last year at the start of the pandemic. My husband came down with it was a mystery illness at that point because we didn't know what was going on, and his situation was rapidly deteriorating. We couldn't get him to the doctor because all of the healthcare facilities were shutting down if it wasn't COVID. And it was just, that I launched a federal recovery program through our organization. So I was working a lot of hours. Son was at home being homeschooled and all that. So it was a lot of stuff that I had to just say, hey, I had to surrender some things, and some things just can't get done, and those expectations, and can only do what I can at that moment.
I love that. Help a mother out, surrender. Here's some comments, and then Tanisha, you're going to have the last one. So Barbara did say yes, that prayer circle. Sorry about that, Barb. Me too. I have been experiencing this as well. And she's speaking to what we're going through in this pandemic, anxiety and everything. Speak today, ma'am. Help a mama out. And this is a good platform. Thank you all for the information shared. My sisters, I have always helped one another. Mommy, auntie, to all of our children. All right now. Thank you, ladies, for that. And Tanisha, what would you say?
I think Tisha gave the $1 million answer about giving yourself some grace, because I think that's where it starts. And, I think a lot of times we try to keep up this facade that I got it all together. And the reality is nobody has it together every day. 20, today I'm killing the game. Tomorrow I want to sit in my bed and eat chips all day and cry. And I don't know why. And I think it's just owning that and knowing it's okay.
Thank you.
Having that support network of people where you can call and say, girl, I'm a hot mess today. I don't know if I'm coming or if I'm going. And just being kind to yourself, because we are hardest on ourselves, which is unfortunate. And we always want to present this, I got it going on. I got it on. No, I don't. That's just the truth. I don't, And for me, I'm a single mom. So it has always been important for me to be also transparent with my son. I'm not always strong. Sometimes mom's human. Sometimes I'm weak. Sometimes I snap at you and it has nothing to do with you. I'm just having a bad day. I just don't feel good. And so I've always just tried to be very intentional with being real with him. Like since he was a little guy, like mom just needs some time. I'm not my best self right now. Can you go figure life out for yourself? Go eat a bowl of cereal. But I need time because, it's just about being comfortable and just saying, you know what, I don't have it all together. Tomorrow, I might stay on my jammies all day, or I'm not combing my hair, and it's recognizing that we all go through ups and downs, and it's like you're not alone. You aren't crazy. You aren't the only one in this, and having that network of people who won't judge you on those days, I think it's a critical.
That's incredible. You women have been phenomenal. Thank you so much for your authenticity, your transparency. I know today I have been helped. I know that the women who are listening, I know you've been helped. And this has been phenomenal. I do want to thank you all for joining Exhale with Regina, helping women to own their voices. And so I just want to again share that Exhale with Regina is designed to help women to see themselves. Women today, you have helped us to see ourselves. Many women do not see their gifts, talents, and abilities. And they are stuck in shame, false guilt, comparison, low self-esteem, and a poor self-image. Women can struggle with embracing themselves based on societal norms, family expectations, and distorted thoughts towards themselves. Women who embrace themselves, they see their beauty, not the way society defines them, but their God-given beauty. Exhale with Regina wants to help you move from pain to purpose and shine light into the hidden places. I want to thank you ladies for shining light into hidden places today. I also want to make sure that I tell the audience how to get in contact with you. So here I have Tisha Hammond, small business cheerleader. You can book an appointment with her on Canly.com. Tanisha Hammond, she has content. That word is not going to come out of my mouth. I can see it, but I can't say it.
Content concierge.
Yeah, concierge. It was not coming out. Free trial. You can go to bit.ly/DSS content bank code ES. That's a lot. /SBOT. So you guys see it. I just really messed that up. Let me just say that, but it's right there for you ladies. So please reach out. This is her free trial offer to you. Then we have Shantae Dixon, consultant. Shantae, I just love your spirit. Thank you so much for being here. And you can enter into a drawing that she's having for a complimentary DISC assessment and debrief. This DISC assessment, I want you ladies to know, it is impeccable. It helps you to get a better understanding of who you are, your skills, your strengths, and it guides you towards that. And Shantae is certified to do this. And I want to encourage you to make sure that you connect. And then I just want to thank Tanisha Leonard, president of RTM 360. you can contact her. You can go through to the Michigan Chronicle.
Mhm.
You can
find me on LinkedIn.
Oh, you can find her on
Find me on
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
You can find her on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because I know, yes, and also Instagram, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you can find her in all those places. So I want you ladies, I want the audience to make sure you connect with these ladies. I also want to encourage you to continue to show up. We are offering these every other Friday. I'm doing this Exhale with Regina, Women Owning Their Voices. You can also go to my website, which is reginachall.com. Oh, here it is. You can subscribe to my newsletter. And I just want to thank you all for today. It is 4:30 and I make a point to leave, but I saw that there was a comment and she said, thank you, Regina, and each of you beautiful ladies. And thank you, Marla, for being here. And if we can all take one breath together as we leave the show. On 1, 2, 3. Shh. Breathe, ladies, and thanks so much for joining.